Many people want to be millionaires. However, the question is, how do we become a millionaire? There are many paths in life to reach you $1 million. You can ask 1 million people to give you $1 today and be a millionaire if you want to. The matter is, how do we do that? This is where the principle of owning a business comes from. Businesses, no matter how big or small, are the backbone of the earth economies. Many people may think that businesses are organizations that sell products or services. The definitions of a business is a person's regular occupations, profession, or trade. With this being said, when people are saying that businesses are organizations that sell products or services, they are completely right. The reason why I said this is because a person's regular occupations, profession, or trade will revolve around the backbone of the earth economies, the businesses. Every occupation in this world is either considered to be a product or a service from an organization. Nonetheless, we must treat our life and career like an organized business. Going back to the idea that there are many paths to reach $1 million, I believe there are only two main ways to reach this number: to make $1 million and to save up $1 million. Every other path is based on this understanding. The real problem with these two paths is that it will take time to accumulate. The average minimum wage in the United States is $7.25 per hour. Assuming an individual only work 40 hours a week with nothing else to increase the pay and only working the bare minimum, they will be making less than $20 a year. Let's just say they can save 50% of their growth income. Even though it's close to impossible in this economy, it will take them 100 years to reach $1 million. How did I come up with this? I just performed simple math. If they make about $20,000 a year, you can divide this earning into 12 equal months, assuming it will be the same paycheck every time. Next, let's assume we only need to spend 50% of it just to live and save the rest. We can have about $833 left to save each month. Next, we will divide 1 million by 833. With these calculations, it will take 120 months to reach $1 million. With this, we will continue to divide this by 12. This number will be 100. Nonetheless, if we are relying on making minimum wage with nothing else under our belts, we will never reach $1 million. This is why we need to change our income number when we still have the chance. How do we change our income number? We must keep on learning skills. What is a skill? Skill is the ability to do something well. With this being said, how well learning skills increase your income? You will give out better services and products. As I mentioned before, everyone in this world will either give out service or create product. The reason why we have minimum wage is because the worker skills is replaceable. Your skill can be trained in a matter of hours to a few days. If everyone in this world become a minimum wage worker, the economy and societies will be in trouble. When we think of becoming a minimum wage worker, we think of becoming a waiter or retail assistant. It is logical to think that becoming a waiter or retail assistant will not take that much time to train. They will still need to remember the products they are existing to sell. However, the requirement that they have to memorize is not comparable to a skilled career like becoming a doctor and much more. When we are talking about minimum wage in the economy, we cannot ignore inflation. It is the increase in price of goods and services. The truth is that inflation will always increase each year pass it by. There are always many reasons why this happens, but there are two well-known reasons that everyone should know. The first reason is that the government is printing more paper money. This is a bad idea because paper money will be less valuable if there are too many of them in this world. The second reason is that the forceful rise in expenses. This is a reason why we should not increase the minimum wage salaries. When businesses are paying the employee, it is one of the biggest expenses. These fixed income add up with other fixed income like debts and utility bills. If businesses can't make enough to support their employee, they will find some way to fix this problem. The solution will consequently be the increase in the price of goods and services. This is why we cannot rely on making minimum wage our whole life. We need to be an apprentice of a worthwhile skill. This is the story of my life so far. It began when I was a high school student. The reason why I started back in high school is because that is when the time I know I want to be rich. I also know that going to college may not be the right answer for me. I have learned that if I am not in a science, technology, engineer, and math major, college might be too risky for me to attend. In my hometown, an Asian-dominated area, college is recommended every school years I attended. This is bad and a good thing. The reason for this is because they want students to think about the future, fill in the required career in the workforce. This is for the future engineer, doctor, programmer, and much more. What about the bad thing about the recommendations of college? They can waste their time and money with useless major. Some major will not guarantee a job right when you step into the workforce. In conclusion, many people end up not using their major for their job. With this being said, there are many other paths beside college that student can take. There are two main paths: serving in the military and learning a skill. I decided to do both. I am a mechanic soldier in the United States Army. I learned a lot along the way, made a lot of mistakes along the way. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly moments, but I will never regret joining as an active duty soldier. There is one thing that I thought about a lot. I should wait a little longer before I ship off to basic training. The reason why I mentioned this is because I shipped off 2 weeks after my high school graduations. Living as an active duty soldier in the United States Armies. Even though we do not have a big paycheck, we have all the food, water, and shelter provided for us. In return, we are able and should be able to save a lot of money. As long as we do not waste our paycheck on expensive cars with high interest rate, and we are not eating outside of the army too much, we are capable of saving up close to or up to 50% of our income each month. With this being said, the next step is investing. One of the best investing strategies is the stock market. Many people may think that the stock market is a terrible idea because they think it is too risky. They are right. Stock market is a terrible idea if you do not know what the right thing to do. Buying the wrong stock exchange can cause you to lose your money if the price drops dramatically. So what is the point of choosing the right stocks unless you can predict the futures or get really lucky? One of the best strategies is to not pick a stock but rather take them all. These are called exchange trade fund, ETF, or index fund. These stocks are based on the top performing companies in the United States. What do I mean by this? This means that ETF are representing the USA economy. In the title, I have said that I am 21 years old and I have a strategy to become a millionaire. However, I didn't say what age I will reach $1 million. This is because investing is a long-term strategy and a marathon. For example, if we invest $1,000 a month in 20 years, we will have a base saving of $240,000 after 20 years. This is nowhere near $1 million. However, this is only the base saving. This is only the calculation of 20 times the yearly saving of $1,000 each month. If we put this fixed monthly saving into an index fund, our money will make money by itself. I also learned that investing $1,000 each month might not seem impossible. Why do I believe this? Experts suggest that investing 25% of their monthly growth income is the expectation for a balanced life. This is with the assumptions that the investor has little to no debt. If the individual had an income of $5,000 a month, 25% is $1,500. With this amount, we need to stay consistent and invest the same every single month. If the stock market turns into a bull market while you have your money in it, the money will end up making more money in the long run. With this being said, one of the well-known tactics of the stock market is investing in dollar cost averaging, the practice of putting a fixed amount of money into an investment on a regular basis, typically monthly or even bi-weekly. This is a long-term strategy because it doesn't matter if the graph moves up or down in the next few days, years, or months. The economy will always grow and improve itself in the long run. Even if there is a financial crisis crash that happened in a year or two. After that period, the market will adapt and improve itself due to the expectation of competitions. This is why we need to set an automatic transfer of 10 to 25% from our checking account to our investment account each month into an index fund that will automatically grow over time. Now, what if the investor wants to invest more than 25% of their income? This is why the investor should increase their monthly income time after time. They can save and invest more money after they have paid the bill and expenses. This, however, will only happen if their bills and expenses do not always grow over time due to their income increasing. This is called lifestyle inflation. When people realize that their salaries have become significantly increased, they are excited to buy more expensive products like house, cars, and clothing. Some people even have to live paycheck to paycheck so they can pay off every finance that they are assigned for. We need to budget every year during our working life. When I'm talking about budgeting, I am talking about organizing our money into percentage portions. Here are the best organized budgeting strategies for spending, saving, and investing each paycheck being earned each month. I have learned the strategies from spending time researching finance advice from passionate, expert, and professional. The first few percentage portions are our expenses. The top two most expensive are our cars and house. Our house expenses, an ideal percentage of our income is about 20 to 25%. Whether it's our mortgage or rent, this number is ideal because it gives room for other expenses. We do not want a house that takes over 50% of our paycheck each month. There is no room to live a free and fun lifestyle. What about cars? I have learned from the Money Guy show on YouTube that we should consider using the strategies of 2038. This strategy is about saving 20% of the car's price for a down payment. The strategies of 3 is a term of financing. The longer term will indeed decrease the monthly payment. However, what about the interest rate? It is reasonable to assume that APR, the annual percentage rate, should increase because the bank want to profit each year. This is why a 3-year term should be ideal for purchasing a car. Not to mention that holding debts for so long can create worrisome in the long run, as they still have payment to consider. The next number for buying a car is 8. This number is the percentage needed to budgeting our paycheck each month for finance for a car. This number is 8%. This number is 8% of our fixed income each month. The reason why this should be 8% or lower is because we do have other expenses to consider. We have the monthly cost of a car's insurance and gas. Combining these two expenses, we should add up to 10% of our fixed income. There we have our car and house's payment each month, budgeting from our fixed income. The ideal payment for both should add up to 30% of our fixed income. What about the rest? The next two strategies are our saving. These strategies will only be for saving because I do have another strategies for investing. There are 2 organized savings number that people should consider. The first saving is to save for emergency. Experts suggest that we should save about 6 months worth of our combined fixed expenses. These fixed expenses will include your housing, transportation, food, waters, and other necessary expenses to live. Imagine if your expenses are $2,000 a month. This means that you will have to save around $12,000 just to give you time to recover from the worst case scenario for 6 months. This is also a recommendation to live minimalistic lifestyle with no unnecessary high luxuries expenses because of the high payment plan these products require. The worst case scenario is when you lose your job. This is when you cannot pay your bills. This is why we need to live within or way under our means because anything can happen in life. The next strategies of savings is our fun experiences and gift for others. This is how we should treat ourselves and others after many months of works within a year. This fun, to me, will most likely be the expensive travel to relax, have fun, and explore. If we save up for these expenses after a minimum of 3 to 6 months, we will have a budget for a nice vacation by ourselves or with our loved ones. It is a recommendation that we should work hard for a long period of time. However, we should not suffer doing it. We should not wait for 3 to 6 months while being burnt out from our job. We need to recover consistently. How do we recover? We should find joyful activities. These joyful activities or social events and hobbies we love to do when we are not working our 9 to 5. These events must not pass our budget, especially if we have to keep track of a monthly budget. We cannot afford to spend thousands of dollars on the weekends if we are making an average of $50,000 a year. The reason for this is that when we are making $50,000 a year, we are actually making about $4,200 a month. With other expenses, we cannot afford to spend thousands on the weekends. With this being said, we should save about 10% for both emergency and fun expenses. For example, 10% of $4,200 a month is $420. After 6 months of saving, this money will turn into $2,520. The expenses that we would use the most will be our fun and gift. The reason for this is that the emergency will not happen often. Therefore, after years of saving up for emergency, we can turn a small portion of it into our investment account. Before that, we should save our emergency fund outside of our direct deposit bank so we do not end up using it whenever we feel like it. With this being said, what saving account should we use? We should use a high yield saving account to make a little more money each month.